The housing market has been interesting to navigate for a while now. How much more will it cost to buy? Are there homes available now? Will you qualify for one? Well, Fran Johnson with Keller Williams Realty is joining us now to talk about the current state of the housing market. She's also taking your questions. So this is your chance to talk to an expert and get a question answered. The number is 336-379-5775. You text in that question. All right, let's kind of just start off with the big picture stuff. Let's talk about what the national trend and numbers look like right now, Fran.
Yes, so I wanted to start off with sort of the national look at where home sales are. And you can see the graph that hopefully is on the screen right now. And if you take a look at it, our numbers today are reflective of where numbers were in 2008, 9, 10, and 11. And if you see that little pink, that's last year's numbers at 4.1 million in sales. And then they were projected in this yellow for them to be slightly above. And but if you take a look at the monthly home sales and you compare last year with this year's numbers, they're not quite trending up. They're trending just slightly below. So unless we have a bang up second half of the year, I think we're going to end up slightly below last year.
Slightly below last year. All right, so let's see if the Triad is also following the same trend or not. How are we doing? What are the price of homes and all that kind of jazz?
Yes, and so where we are, last month, our median sales price was $295, and to date, this month, they're trending right around 300,000. There are about 3,870 homes for sale last year. They're about the same so far this month, 3,844 right now. The new listings coming on the market, 2350 last month. They're down slightly this month at 1410. The pending sales trending about the same. The solds are trending about the same, all they're a little bit lower in August. That's probably reflective of back to school. And we are up just a little bit in our month supply at 2.4. So
okay. So it's kind of still mixed bag kind of thing. Not huge fluctuations though from one month to the next.
No, the pricing has leveled off a little bit, although they're still increasing slightly.
Okay, but we're not seeing that crazy get 15 to 20 bids on something before you even list the thing almost.
No, they've calmed down. Still multiple bids on things, so do have to price right. You have to go in strong with your offers, but they've lightened up. It's a little bit easier for buyers right now.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about, speaking of a little bit easier for buyers, let's talk about interest rates because they have been really high. And so that's been an issue. What's the status now and what do you think is going to happen?
So where we are with interest rates right now, we're trending about 6.5%, give or take a little bit on a 30-year fixed rate loan. I have seen some rates even lower down towards the 6% level for the 15-year fixed rate. But if you look at our GDP, it's running pretty good at about 2.5. The inflation rate is down. They're looking at a 2% and it's right at 2.7. So it's trending down, but the unemployment rate is at 3.6 and it seems like it's moving up. And when people are unemployed, that means they don't have a paycheck. They don't have any money to spend. And so with all those factors in, you want to keep the economy moving. And one of the ways to do that is to drop the rate. So that's the chatter we're hearing right now is they think the rates will come down. So that's sort of what we're looking for.
Okay, well, of course, have to stay tuned and figure out what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks or so. All right, let's talk about this because this is the newest thing that has come into fruition now. Now, the lawsuit settlement, that NAR lawsuit settlement, and how it impacts buyers and sellers. So I know we've got a couple of different graphics here to go through, one of which is the buyer agent agreement. Let's just talk about what that is.
So the buyer agent agreement is the agreement that you sign. Traditionally in North Carolina, we've signed it most any time just prior to writing your offer. But today, the change is that you cannot be shown a house by an agent unless you have a written agreement. And in that written agreement, It needs to say what the services are. It needs to detail the amount of compensation and how that will be paid. And it cannot be open-ended. It has to be specific. And what I mean by open-ended is you can't say, well, just whatever the seller is paying. It has to be specific, flat rate, or percentage. And so those are the things that have to go into that buyer agency agreement. And so when you're out looking at houses and it's the first time you've been out with an agent, they're going to be asking you to meet them somewhere, meet them at their office, and go over information and sign an agreement before you go out and look at houses, because it is required by law for them now.
Okay, and is North Carolina different than some other states about how some of this works?
In North Carolina, our compensation has always been disclosed. It's always been fully negotiable. But in some other states, they didn't have a law always that you had to disclose if you got more money. So one of the laws in this the new changes is that if in your buyer agency agreement, whatever amount that is agreed upon in that contract, the agent cannot be paid more than is stated there, even if a seller is offering to pay the buyer agent fee and it's more. So some states didn't have that already in place, but in North Carolina, we did have that in place.
Does that protect us in some way, shape, or form?
Well, what it does is it outlines exactly what's going to take place. So in North Carolina, the buyer agency agreement has always been between the agent and the buyer. And so the buyer's always been responsible for the fee, and they still are in these new changes. It's just the mechanism in which you get paid that money is going to change a little bit. So traditionally, it's always been the seller is offered a compensation, and that's the way it's been paid. But even before these changes in North Carolina, we saw that some sellers were offering 2.5, they were offering 2, they were offering 1. I've even seen some as low as 0.5%. So the arrangement, if it was more in your buyer agency agreement, your agent typically had a conversation with how that difference was going to be paid. And many times that was renegotiated with the seller, and that can still be done.
Okay, gotcha.
So
all right. A few more hoops to jump through. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're probably going to have a few questions on that when we come back. We want you to ask your questions, 336-379-5775.